This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is Dave Nixon, and today we're going to start with a mouse. Now, I'm not actually going to be handing out mice or anything at all. So I can't remember what book I was reading recently. I probably could just go back and have a look, but either way, and it sort of said it was talking about Walt Disney and how the whole Walt Disney thing, the Disney franchise, everything, the Disney Vacation Club, obviously Disneyland, everything, it actually started with Mickey Mouse. And so the idea I sort of pulled apart from this was this whole idea once again that, you know, Disney started with the mouse. And what that means, and to pull it apart further, is simply just like we can start with something pretty small and something that is often seen as, kind of mundane. It's just like as a mouse. If people have a pet mouse, you're like, cool. It's nothing sort of like, something like dragons. I don't know. You get my point here. It's something that's very, very simple in its idea. And then, from starting from a mouse, he kept it simple and he started basic and he built. And this is even one of the coaching commandments that I teach people. It's like start basic and build. Just keep it simple, start basic and build on that basic. Don't try and start complex and then try and cut things out. Start basic and build. And then what I found interesting with this sort of concept is that if we look at everything we do in life, and you know, if you've done the Enneagram, you pull up a Type 7, you might have similar thought patterns to myself, where it's just like, let's get all these things done and all these ideas and trying to do half of them and they all end up half-baked and you don't get anything done. It's like, really focus down on one thing to begin with. Make that thing simple and deliver it really, really, really well. And then add something to it. You know, give it the opposite. Give it a Minnie Mouse, whatever that is, right? And so in that circumstance, it's just giving these two things. And then you start basic with that and then you continue to build. And what's really interesting is that Mickey Mouse, it wasn't perfect. Mickey wasn't perfect before it moved forward, before they moved on and did other stuff, right? And what I mean by that is that like he had a good concept and he had a good structure and he had a solid foundation. But before he started adding things, he didn't wait for him to perfect it, because it's never going to be perfect. That's one. We already know that. But that's really important to understand. It was start basic and build. He didn't go, once you perfect it, then you can move on. And we sometimes get stuck in this trap of like, no, it has to be perfect. It has to be perfect. It has to be perfect. It's like, no, it fucking doesn't. And you know it doesn't. It's like, but it's my quality. It's like, if you're waiting for perfect, you're never going to deliver it. If you're not embarrassed by your first product, then you waited too long. Like, that's what we're getting at here. And so it's really understanding that we perfect something by continually pursuing perfection. That's the perfect way to do it. It is not waiting for perfection, it's the pursuit of that allows us to deliver something so goddamn well and improve on things and do that sort of stuff. So it's not perfection in itself, it's the pursuit of perfection that actually allows us to do that. And that's really crucial, because if we're not careful, this idea of perfection or waiting until something's perfect or the perfect moment can often hold us shackled to like Neverland in the future, which means we're constantly stuck in imperfection. Like, that's what people don't realize, that are waiting for a perfect moment. It's like, well, you're in imperfection, so let's do it now, and then start and then change and adapt and go from there. And I think if we can look at our own behavior and our own ideas and our own thoughts and everything we want to achieve, and understand that reality is constantly unfolding for us to attempt to actually get better at these things. And this is where it's like, you know, in order to get better at writing, you don't take a test where someone's like, well, you're good at writing now. You learn to write every single day, and you lean into your failures, because that becomes a part of your learning process. And the person that fails the most often learns the most. And this is one of the things we have to look at and learn to reframe with failure, is understanding that it's just like, no. Failure is a part of the process. And if we focus on the process, we'll get the result. If we focus on the result, we'll kind of end up fucking the process along the way. And so it's being able to, once again, think macro, have your head in the clouds, and then act micro and have your feet on the ground. And when we can do that and we get our hands dirty by doing the work, we end up finishing in the space we deserve to be because we focus on the process along the way. And we start basic and build. And this is where if we start something basic and build and we focus on it every single day and we give it attention every single day, then you're going to be a lot further in a year's time than the person that's waiting for it to be perfect. You start with a mouse. Offer the mouse to the world and see what they do with it. Then change it, adapt it, get feedback. Do this with your singing. If you're an artist, do this with your writing. Do this with your message. It's constant feedback that allows us to develop and move forward. And it's not just a matter of someone going, I really like it or I don't really like it. It's just seeing how people respond to it. Getting feedback when you put something out there. How did it feel to me by putting it out there, right? There's some feedback for you. Probably more important than whether someone likes it or not. Because some people listen to these podcasts and they fucking love it, and that's great. And some people listen to it and they fucking hate it, and that's great, whatever. But does it feel right to me? That's the question I have to go. That's my barometer, right? Now, I'm not sure if I've talked about this before, but one of the things that I had to catch myself and become aware of was that I knew that there were some people out there that absolutely love my content, which is great. I'm really grateful for that. They share it. They tune in every day. They absolutely love it. But what I'm also aware of is that I'm someone's fuckwit. Like, someone sees my stuff pop up on social media, they're like, oh, this fucking guy. And it's like, yeah, I can't please everyone. I'm not trying to, right? I'm awkwardly stumbling through this thing called life and understanding myself. And whatever that looks like outside is what it looks like outside. I can't control that. And when we can understand that, we're someone's fuckwit, just start. Just start basic. You could produce the fucking best thing in the world and someone will still not like it because it's not the best thing for them. And that's what's really important. This goes with the quote of like, you can be the juiciest peach on the tree, but you'll still find someone that doesn't like peaches. Like, so what? Just focus on being the juicy peach. Focus on giving. But you got to be able to make sure you start with a mouse, start basic, and commit yourself to building every single day. Don't be afraid of making mistakes because at least you took it. It's a missed take. At least take the opportunity. And if you fumble, you fumble. But then take the next opportunity and keep running with it. Team, that's it. Thank you very much for tuning in today. If you got something out of this podcast, it would mean the world to me. If you'd pass it on to someone else that you think would also benefit from this podcast. If you haven't already, then jump on the Mood Prep Online group. It's on Facebook. Just search Mood Prep Online and I'll accept you in there and we'll be friends. I have a Q&A in there tomorrow, or today actually, by the time this goes out, at lunchtime. Otherwise, there's heaps of updates. We've got a book club, all sorts of stuff in there. If you're a PT, a trainer, or a coach, then check out the Coaches Circle. You can find out more information on my website, davenixon.com.au. And that's it. That's enough for me. Until tomorrow, peace and pizza. Kick today in the dick. Slay the dragon. I'll see you guys soon.
To be everything at once, be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.